Some places are forgotten by time, but time never forgets what happened in them. Deep in the ancient woods of Hedmark, Norway, there are secrets buried under layers of pine needles and years of silence. This story begins back in 2004 with an invitation to hunt roe deer, an invitation that would lead to a week I can never forget, no matter how hard I try. The place we stayed was called Cabin Number 9. It wasn't much more than a shed, really. 4 miles from the nearest sign of life, it sat slumped and tired in a small clearing. It had 3 dark, weathered walls and 1 wall that was strangely whitewashed. The front looked like a worn-out stable, and the outhouse nearby was riddled with shotgun holes, a grim welcome sign from hunters testing their ammo. This wasn't just a hunting cabin. It was a place that soaked up feelings. You could feel the ghosts of parties, the quiet desperation of lonely fishermen, and something else, something much heavier. As we settled in, the father of one of my hunting buddies, a retired Army lieutenant colonel, a man who didn't waste words, told us why that one wall was white. He pointed a steady finger towards the main table. "Right there," he said, his face unreadable in the lantern light. "A fella had too much trouble to carry. Brought a gun to the cabin one night and ended it. He told us they had to paint the wall to cover the mess. At first, I thought it was a campfire story, a spooky tale to set the mood, but every man in that room was dead serious. The air grew cold. We were sleeping in a room where a man's despair had left a permanent stain." A couple of days later, I took my post at a hunting stand in an area the locals called the Scaffold. The name wasn't a joke. It was where the last public execution in Norway took place, way back in 1876. The feeling of that place was wrong. It was darker than the rest of the forest, grim and oppressive. But the strangest part was the silence. The woods are never truly quiet, but here they held their breath. No birds sang, no squirrels chattered. It was like a giant pair of earmuffs had been clamped over the entire area, suffocating all life and sound. Nature itself was warning you. Something terrible happened here, and the memory never left. That night, one of the guys felt sick and decided to head home. He asked me to hold a flashlight while he searched for something in his car. I pointed the beam where he asked, and as he rummaged around, something moved in the darkness behind him. A figure, milky white and hazy, was walking down the dirt road. As my flashlight beam hit it, the figure stopped dead in its tracks, as if caught by surprise. It had the shape of a man, and he turned his head as if to say, "What the hell are you looking at?" I was frozen, a mix of fear and pure curiosity. I kept the light on him as he walked past us, silent as a dream, and then simply vanished into the night. I didn't say a word. I don't know why, but I kept it to myself. 2 nights later, we were all exhausted after a long day. We ate quickly and went to bed. As I drifted off, a strange feeling washed over me, like the air itself was electric, humming with the heat of an oven. I woke up suddenly in the dead of night. My first thought was that my mate was sitting up at the table. I was lying by the door, my .358 rifle hanging on a hook beside me, the bolt open. A wave of pure adrenaline hit me. The cabin door was latched from the inside. How did someone get in? My training kicked in. My mind went calm and clear. This would be the 3rd time in my life I'd load a weapon in anger. I reached for a cartridge from the pouch on my belt, slid it into the chamber, and slammed the bolt home. Then I sat up, rifle pointed forward, finger resting beside the trigger. That's when I saw him.
But the man at the table wasn't a threat, not a physical one anyway. My fear turned into a freezing, shivering awe. This was the 3rd man, the one who had been here long before us and would be here forever. He was dressed in clothes from another time, the late 1800s, a dark blue jacket, what they used to call a busserole, and heavy, dark trousers. He looked to be in his 60s or 70s, with half-long dark hair graying at the temples. He wasn't looking at me. He was just sitting there, holding his head in his hands, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. He was sighing, grieving for something I couldn't understand. Then he stood up and walked right past me. He opened the heavy wooden door, a door we had to fight to close as if it were made of paper. And then he was gone.
A bitter cold snapped me out of it. The door was wide open, letting in the black, freezing night. I unloaded the rifle, laid it beside me, and pulled the sleeping bag over my head, whispering every prayer I could remember. The next morning, my mate, who was sleeping on the other side of the room, sat up. "Was that you up this morning?" he asked. "No," I said. "I thought it was you at first." He looked at me, then at the door, which we struggled to close again. Then who was it, he wondered. I just said one word. Svartbekken. That was the name of the man executed here all those years ago. My friend got a curious glint in his eye. "Well," he said with a half smile, "if he comes back, we'll invite him for a whiskey."